Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Total Body Strength. Jazzy here, Program Manager with ExoSal Autodesk. And I have a good workout for us today. So we're going to be focusing on doing some upper body and lower body pulling movements today. And we're going to do 3 rounds of our circuit. We're going to do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and then, like I said, 3 times through with a warm up and a cool down. So we're just getting right into our demos this morning. So starting off, you do need at least 1 set of dumbbells. I always recommend having 2, a lighter one and a heavier one, so that way we can kind of pick and choose the dumbbell that fits best for us in the movement that we're doing. So I just have 1 set today, and I'm probably going to do at least one movement with no dumbbells. And that is also okay too, because you can do some of these without any weight. So first movement here, we're going to take our dumbbells. We're going to do Romanian deadlifts, and we're going to do this with a 3-second eccentric, which the eccentric portion is the lowering portion. So we're going to go down nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, until we're roughly parallel with the ground with our chest, and then we're going to push through our heels, standing on up. So 1, 2, 3, pushing that butt back, push the ground away, stand back up. So that's our first movement. Our second movement is going to be a bent over T, and we're going to hold the T at the top and then move one arm at a time. So I set my dumbbells down for this one because I know myself, and with the way my neck and shoulders have been, I'm not doing that with weight. So I'm going to do it just body weight, but we're going to push our hips back, holding out our arms like a T, one arm at a time coming up, and then the other arm coming up. So we're holding one arm, moving the other arm. And then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and pick those dumbbells back up. We're going to do more Romanian deadlifts here, but this time we're going to do a kickstand, which is pretty similar to a single leg, but this is going to give us a little bit more balance. So I'm going to put all of my weight in my right foot, my left foot, and my right foot is just going to be off to the side. So I like to kind of have that foot up on the toe, right underneath that hip as we push the hips back and then push around, come back up. So very similar to regular Romanian deadlift, but all of our weight is just on one side. So we're gonna do all on one leg and then all on the other leg. If you would like to challenge yourself today and just do a straight up single leg Romanian deadlift, more than welcome to do that. You can do that with or without weights, and you're just going to sink into that hip, push those hips back, be nice and long, push the ground away and come back up, making sure that hip is pointing towards the ground the whole time. After that, we're going to go ahead and do some bent over rows. So very similar to our bent over T's. We're going to push those hips back, bring our arms straight up, hands towards the butt, back down, squeezing through the armpit and coming back down. So that is going to be our next movement. And then we're going to finish off on the ground, on the mats, on our backs. And we're going to do some dead bugs with a core assist. So that core assist means that we're going to have both of our hands with our dumbbells in them above those shoulders, and one leg at a time. We're going to extend down, exhale, come back, and then the other side down, exhale, and come back. So that is going to be our full circuit today. So like I said, we're going to do that 3 times through. So we can go ahead and get into our warm up first. So we're going to start off in a half kneeling position. We're going to do our nice hip flexor into our hamstring stretch. So we're going to have the right knee on the ground, left foot on the ground. We're going to tuck our pelvis, squeeze a glute, push those hips forward, breathing into the belly. And we're going to exhale, rock our hips back, toes to the ceiling into that hamstring stretch. We're going to flow through this pretty quickly and switching back forward, making this as dynamic as we can, really opening up our hips and our hamstrings, exhaling, rocking back. We're going to do lots of hip hinging today with our RDLs. And we're going to go ahead and do that one more time. So switching back into our hip flexor, push those hips forward. Nice big deep breath, exhaling, toes to the ceiling, rocking back. And on our next exhale, we can gently go ahead and come out of that. And then we're going to switch over to the other side. So whatever knee this is, my left knee, right foot. Tuck the pelvis, squeeze that glute, push those hips forward. Again, nice and dynamic, big deep breath. And rocking back, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. And exhaling, rocking back. Squeeze that glute, bring those hips forward. And exhaling, rocking back. Great job. And deeper into the stretch with each one. Last time through, hip flexor. So keep that glute squeeze. That's going to help us release our hips. And exhaling, rocking back. Push those hips back super far behind us. It's going to open up those hamstrings. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale and come out of that. And then we're going to go ahead and make our way onto our hands and our knees. We're just going to do a little bit of reaching through for some rotation. So I'm going to start with the right hand here. We're going to inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. Gazing towards the hand, towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach through. And exhale, reaching up. And one more, inhale, reach through. And exhale, reaching up. We can go ahead and plant that hand back underneath our shoulder. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. And last one, inhale, reach through. And exhale, opening up. Now we can go ahead and plant that hand back underneath the shoulder, and we are ready to rock and roll. So we're gonna go ahead and stand on up, grabbing those dumbbells, getting ready for our slow lowering. So 3 seconds down on those RDLs or Romanian deadlifts. And we're gonna start that here, getting the timer going in 3, 2, 1, and go. So grabbing those dumbbells, having them right in front of our hips. 1, 2, 3. Push the ground away, come back up. So pushing that butt back like we're closing a door, like we have full hands, like we're just getting out of the car after going to the grocery store. We gotta close that car door. So push those hips back, nice and slow down until the chest is roughly parallel with the ground. We do not want to bring those dumbbells to the ground. That's gonna put pressure on the low back. So I don't want to see any dumbbells near the ground. As you notice, mine's right about mid shin before I stand back up. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice job. Next up, we have bent over tees. We're gonna hold at the top, alternating one arm at a time. 3, 2, 1. So push those hips back like we're doing a Romanian deadlift. So I'll show you from this angle. Holding at the top, keeping that core nice and tight. We don't have to move super fast through this. Really driving those elbows. So we want to pretend like we've got glass on our back. We're breaking that glass as we come up, making sure that our pinkies are towards the ceiling. So palms are away from us. That's going to engage right at the backs of the shoulders, which is going to be really good for posture. So that's what we want to aim for today. One arm at a time. Squeezing through the backs of the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. Next up, we have our kickstand Romanian deadlift. So we're going to do the same thing, but one leg at a time. And if doing a straight up single leg Romanian deadlift is for you today, 3, 2, 1, go ahead and do that. So if you are going to do that advanced option, making sure that you are pushing those hips back. A common thing that I see, which is what happens when we're not doing it correctly, is if we just bring those arms all the way to the ground and then stand back up. You notice my back was hunched. I'm pushing off, bending through the back. But here, this is what we really want to see. Those hips pushing back just like a regular Romanian deadlift. So push those hips back, push the ground away. That's how you are going to really feel it in the glutes and hamstrings. And if that's not available, go ahead and put that toe on the ground. Same thing. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. We're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So if you want to do that kickstand where our toe is on the ground, feel free to do that. 3, 2, 1. So we can either do it this way where that toe is on the ground, pushing the ground away, or we can extend the leg back and then push the ground away again. So that is what we are doing with this movement. Really pushing the ground away with that whole foot. Great job. Again, if you are doing a regular single leg Romanian deadlift, sink into that hip. So push the hips back, have that slight bend in the knee, push the ground away. We do not need to bring those dumbbells towards the ground. We still are not doing that. That's going to hurt our hamstrings and our backs. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. We are done with those. Next up, we're going to do bent over rows. We're going to push those hips back behind us again, like we're closing that door with our butt. Then we're going to row, bringing the dumbbells towards the butt and back down. 3, 2, 1. So push the hips back here. Keep that core nice and tight. Rowing toward the butt. So on this one, I can feel it already happening with me. We want to make sure that we're pinching those shoulder blades down and back. So if you have like an orange or an egg right here, you're going to crack that egg right in between those shoulder blades, but at the bottom part. So that way we're keeping that shoulder blade nice and stable because it tends to move. And I know I can feel mine when mine is doing that. Does not feel as good. I know my neck and my shoulders and my traps have been a little funky with all the migraines. So we're keeping an eye on that. 3, 2, 1. All right. I might have to switch that one out for myself the next 2 rounds. All right, last part of round 1, we have our dead bugs with the core assist. 3, 2, 1. So hands above the shoulders, knees above the hips, pressing that belly button into the ground. Exhaling as we bring that knee back in. Great job. Keep that belly button on the ground. It's going to help us really engage that core the way we need to. Great job. Keeping those knees above the hips. If you feel your back start to get off the ground as you lower that leg down, come up a little bit higher. 3, 2, 1. I'd rather y'all come up a little bit higher and make sure that we keep that weight on the core, not the low back. All right, we got 3-second eccentric Romanian deadlifts. 3, 2, 1. Push that door behind you. 1, 2, 3. Push the ground, come back up. 3 seconds down. Push the ground away, come back up. So if you notice I have a slight bend in my knee, I'm really pushing my hips back, but I'm not bending at my knee. So if I were to do that, it would be more of a squat, but my knees are staying stable. They're staying fixed. So this is my hips moving back. It's definitely one of the most common things that I see again with Romanian deadlifts, not only coming too far forward using the back, but starting to bend those knees a little too much. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have the bent over T's. We're going to hold at one side and then come up on the other side. 3, 2, 1. All right. Pushing those hips back like we're closing that door. Keeping that core nice and tight. Arms are holding strong in that T position. And we're driving with the elbows. So we really want our elbows to be what's driving our arm up. Because if we drive from the elbow, we're going to feel that in the backs of the shoulders. So that's what we want to really do today. So we really are explosive. You're breaking that glass with the elbow. Imagine your elbow is swinging kind of like a hammer. And that's really going to help us get the most out of this for that posture and that back strength. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. Next up, we're going to do that kickstand Romanian deadlift or our single leg Romanian deadlift, again, whatever is available to us today. Sometimes I prefer the kickstand. 3, 2, 1. Sometimes I prefer the kickstand because we're a little bit more stable and we can get sometimes a few more reps that are a little bit more sound. We can really engage that muscle the way that we want to in this movement. Sometimes with the single leg, we're so focused on balance, we're overcorrecting, we're making sure we're doing the movement properly. This one kind of takes that out of it. So it's, like I said, a little bit more stable. And then that way we can really start to engage that leg the way we want to and really focus on it being a single leg movement without having to worry about balance. Another tip for balance is being on flat shoes. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. But what I mean by being on flat shoes is either being barefoot or in your socks or wearing something like Vans or Converse with a flat sole. 3, 2, 1. I usually prefer for myself as well as my clients to really focus on doing all lower body movements with flat soled shoes, as this will help again with stability, because with running shoes, a lot of them are cushioned on the bottom, so you can't get that foot fully on the ground. And as I say all the time, we have that foot like a tripod, heel big toe, little toe, and we can't really evenly press through the whole foot if our foot is kind of all over the place on a cushion. So that's why I prefer to use, like personally, I lift in my Vans every day. I don't run in them. 3, 2, 1. So like if you're doing a mixture of like movements, you don't necessarily need to use flat shoes, but I would recommend using them. And it won't hurt for upper body movements either to have a little bit more stability. All right, bent over rows. 3, 2, 1. Feet hip width, keep that core tight, butt to belly button, push the butt back, drive those hands towards the butt and back down. Great job. Squeezing through the armpits, and same thing, we've got either an egg cracked right here or we're squeezing that orange right in between those shoulder blades towards the bottom. So not necessarily up here, want them pinched back and down. It's gonna help us keep a nice flat back, including our spine, meaning our neck. So we don't wanna be looking up, we wanna tuck our chin like we have a tennis ball right here for any movement like that. 3, 2, 1. So that's not only for rows, but also for the T's and the Romanian deadlifts. We wanna hold that tennis ball right underneath the chin. All right, last part of our second round, dead bugs. 3, 2, 1. Knees above the hips. So if you notice, my knees are not coming towards my chest. They're a little bit further out. And that is how we really get that nice lower abdomen engagement. And that's going to help us with our low back strength, with our core strength, with everything. The stronger we can be right here, the more our legs and our arms can kind of pull from that pillar. So pillar is shoulders, hips, and torso. And that's why I love doing dead bugs, because we are working on all three. We're strengthening those shoulders, we're strengthening our torso in the front and the back, and then our hips as well. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. We got one more round to go. We're gonna do our 3-second eccentric Romanian deadlifts, and then we'll finish out this round. 3, 2, 1. So core nice and tight. So I like to say, because a lot of us tend to stand with that curve on our back, if we pretend to bring that butt towards the belly button, we're tucking it in, keeping it nice and tight. That's going to help us take the pressure off of our low back. Keeping our whole foot on the ground. It's really easy to kind of let those toes come off the ground as we push the hips back. Try and stay stable. That's why I like that solid bend in the knee. Pushing those hips back, push the ground away. So we're nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Coming back up. Great job. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right, next up, we have those bent over tees. So we're going to be holding out to the side, using our rear delts, getting that posture nice and strong. 3, 2, 1. So same thing, butt to belly button, tuck it in, lock it in with that core, push our hips back, 1 arm at a time. Drive with the elbow. Great job. Keep pushing here. Break that glass. Elbows are like hammers. Keeping that back nice and flat. Still squeezing that orange, cracking that egg in between those shoulder blades. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. Next up, we have our kickstand or single leg Romanian deadlift. Again, whatever is available to you, whatever you would like to work on today. 3, 2, 1. So all that weight is in one foot. Other foot is slightly behind. So I am putting my foot a little bit further back, but from this angle, it is still in line with my hip. So that's going to help us make sure that because sometimes if we go too far out, our hips are going to be a little bit uneven. We don't want to slant in the hips. We want them to be nice and flat. So keeping that foot that we're not using in line with our hip is going to be really beneficial here. Also making sure, I forgot to mention this the other rounds, we want those dumbbells to stay in the middle. So if you come out to the side, again, we're going to put pressure on one side of the back. So keeping them in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Great job. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we have our rows and dead bugs, and then we're going to be done for the day. Unless, of course, you're taking another class later today, then you're not done. 3, 2, 1. I know I have a solid workout planned for exercise with excess later. It's going to be a good time. It's always a good time. We always have fun in there. All that weight in the working leg. Like I said, that other foot is still in line with that hip so that our hips are nice and level. This is literally just to help us with balance so we can really engage our glutes and hamstrings on our working leg. Keep that chin tucked. Squeeze that orange, crack the egg. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. All right, 2 more movements. Then we're going to cool down and be on our way. We're going to go ahead and do our bent over rows. 3, 2, 1. Feet hip width apart. Push those hips back. Keep those hands outside of our legs. So my arms are staying outside here. They're not coming together or too far in front. Just keeping that core nice and tight. Squeeze through the armpits. Bring those hands towards the butt. Great job. Keep that back nice and flat. Control the weight up. Control the weight back. We got our dead bugs after this. And then we'll do our cool down. And we can start our wonderful Thursday. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. Last up, we have our dead bugs with the core assist. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Knees above those hips, one leg nice and slow at a time. Keeping those dumbbells above the shoulders. Keep those wrists nice and straight. Exhale as we come back. Also, another important thing here, I know I tend to feel it in my hips sometimes because I'm pulling back with my legs and my quads are flexed. So we want to have nice and loose quads. We're pulling with the core. So release that tension through the legs. Only have tension in our core. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice job. That is it for today's circuit. Nice job. Go ahead and grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're going to cool down. We're going to do the Pretzel. So we're going to do that one time on each side, and then we'll be done for today. So I'm going to start off with my left side. Top leg comes up over and across, bottom hand on the knee, top hand grabs onto the bottom foot or ankle. We inhale to prepare, and we exhale, opening up towards the ground. I'm too close to this wall. Here we go. Keeping that front knee on the ground. Nice big deep belly breaths here. Really relaxing into the stretch. Even close those eyes. You want to sink deeper into the stretch with each exhale. And let's go and do one more deep breath here. And as we exhale, you can gently release that bottom foot. Return to our sides, and then we can go ahead and flip over or roll over to the other side. Same checklist here. So top leg up, over and across, bottom hand on top of that knee, top hand onto the bottom leg, inhale to prepare, and exhale, opening up. You might notice at this point in time that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. That's totally normal. And that is why I like to do things one side at a time. We're taking nice big deep breaths into the belly, feeling those hips expand. Exhale, sawing away that tension. And one more deep breath here. And as we finish the exhale, gently release out of that. And then you can go ahead and stay laying on the ground if you would like, or return to seated, kneeling, or standing. But that is going to be all the time I have for today's class. So thank you so much for joining me. We do have a few more classes coming up today. We got exercise with Exos at 12 with me, and then we've got dance at 12:30 with John. And then today is the first day of stretch and stability with Quinn at 4. So definitely join him there. It will be pretty similar to abs and core, but a little bit different, a little bit more stabilization muscles, so a little bit smaller muscles that sometimes we tend to neglect. So that would be good to round out your class schedule. And then we do have a stretch break at 11 also with Quinn, so definitely join him there. We do have all of our services up on our SharePoint site, so you can request a stretch break, you can request a fitness class for your team, we can even do a challenge for your team that's super special and exclusive. That's the word I'm looking for. And then we do have all of our stuff going up on Slack, so check there daily for what we're doing every day. But thank you for joining me. Great job, and I'll see y'all soon.